Not many people know what that means. And that's okay. But this is cool because this is the steward. In other words, without them, there would be so many more signs. See this right here? That, he's building this wall, by the way. That is what's going to happen because people just left trash everywhere out here. So you can see over here also, it's because these city people, come here, River. Hey. Come up here and think that's a road. Well, it is, but now you can't camp over here anymore. And that's the easy thing for everybody to do. And that's what a lot of places, BLM land and other Forest Service land. I saw it in Idaho. That broke my heart. And they'll use any excuse to do it. Fires are one thing. They'll just say, oh no, it's not safe for people. But like, this is part of the most beautiful part of the forest. And now I gotta talk about the feeling. I'm sure a River can smell all kinds of stuff. Look at his nose. He's like, whoa, what was that? Yeah, that's probably a coyote. Come here, River. Look. Come here. I want him to be able to run. Yeah, part of the problem with being on a leash is, you know, a lot of things anyway. I want to talk about the feeling that you get when you're inside a national forest, you know. This is the largest ponderosa forest in the world. And it's only because people are screwing it up that this whole area back here is off limits to vehicles. Because they didn't do that much damage. Like, I'm looking at the road. Like, and back to the feeling you get. I've been doing a lot of traveling. And there's a specific feeling you get when you're in a U.S. forest. Like, I got stuck in Silverton. And I got stuck in Telluride and Colorado because it's everywhere. And they're usually self-policed. There's volunteers out there everywhere. And, you know, most people, all they want is a roof over their head. Because isn't that what everybody's chasing? And that way everybody's cutting each other's throats, is to have a place they can call their own. And it's crazy because out here, you see multi-million-dollar mansions popping up everywhere. But people want to call it theirs and put up a fence, put up a wall, whatever. But to me, it looks like some giant meteor poked a hole in the ground over there a million years ago. You never know. And it's crazy that what I find out here the most are these. Actually, he's the one that finds them. So I got a new thing I do. It's kind of cool. You can talk to AI now. And it's surprisingly smart. Because I was just walking in the forest with River and said, "What kind of tree is that?" And it said, "That's a ponderosa." And I said, "I was told that this is the largest ponderosa forest in the world." And she said, "Yeah, it's the biggest network that extends," and told me this whole long story about these things. Then I said, "It looks like there was a fire out here." And I started showing, where trees have been cut down, and he started talking about one that happened recently. I said, "No." I said, "There's little baby saplings." And AI went on to explain that it was actually over 20 years ago in 2002, the rodeo fire. And it told me all the details of it. But then it started going on and on about, isn't it amazing how the forest can regenerate and there's new life? I don't know what those are. I just see a bunch of yellow flowers. But here's what's crazy. This road used to be open to the public. But it sucks because it's those side-by-side things. And they're so fun, but they're getting out of control now. I remember when I was a kid, I think it was a Honda Odyssey or something. It looked kind of like a modern-day side-by-side. But these things are not toys anymore. River, that's enough. They're not toys anymore. They are... Let's just raw dog it. Just think, nobody has stepped foot where I am. And who knows how long. But yeah, there's a feeling you get in a national forest. And yeah, I'm a veteran, I was a little kid, whatever. I just got to play video games. I don't really have any cool stories. But tomorrow is Memorial Day, and that's to honor all the people that died for our country. Nothing to do with the veterans. Well, they're veterans too, but it's for the ones that lost their life. They died so that me, Brian, can stand here on public national forest, this sacred American ground. Somebody died so that some dumb shit named Brian would someday be able to walk his dog in the forest. You hear that? It's because there's nothing to be heard. Yeah, I spent all year, I can't say all year, but most of last year on public land. And I actually prefer it over all the campgrounds I've ever been to. Thousand Trails is cool, don't get me wrong, but nothing compares to the feeling you get. There's nobody out here. Nobody has been out here in who knows how long. And it just kind of goes off into a pit over there. I kind of want to go look, but there's no oxygen up here. Yeah, I was showing AI pictures. Actually, it was a live video. You can talk to it and say, hey, what do you think about that? But yeah, that was like 20 years ago. Oh, horse poop. Old horse poop. But you got to figure this is a desert, high desert. So there's no air and it's really dry. I was asking AI, do you see those little white rocks? And it said it was something else. I said, no, that's quartz. And she said, oh, yes, thank you. And asked if I was going to collect it. And I said, why? There's plenty of it. Anyway, it's weird talking to a computer, but it's getting pretty sharp. Man. I am just so grateful to be able to walk. It's Sunday. I looked up at the sun earlier and there was a halo. Oof, that was really steep. This hurts. I never talk about it because years ago, when I started to be able to function, I could hear my own voice complaining about pain. And I started to question whether pain really exists or because I was talking about it, I make it exist. Anyway, I think it's both. But I remember what it was like to be numb from the waist down and not being able to feel anything. And I'll take pain over that numbness. All right, we're back up here. I don't want to show the camp host setup. River, come here. And there's a motorcycle coming. River, hey. Isn't that cool? See it turn around? Now here, let me just leave that behind. No, I'm kidding. All right, buddy. Anyway, you know what else that gate does? Did you see any trash? Neither did I. So, there's two sides to every fence. Peace out.